Hey there, this is Toby, and I want to go into some detail about how launchers work in Testem. So, how to control what launchers get launched in either development or continuous integration mode, and as well as how to configure your own launchers, which enables you to basically launch any arbitrary process, including running tests in Node.js. So, all right, let's start with the basics. To display the current available launchers you have, you use the Testem Launchers command, and this tells you all the launchers that are available to you right now. And the concept of launchers is that a launcher can either launch a browser process, or it could also launch any arbitrary process, which can communicate with Testem just by writing to standard out or standard error. Currently, all the launchers we have are browsers. Now, there's also these extra columns on the right, one for CI and one for dev. And these check marks here specify whether this particular launcher will be automatically launched in that mode. So this is saying all 5 of these browsers will automatically launch in CI mode. And that's because in CI mode, the default behavior is to launch all available browsers, because in CI you usually want to exhaustively test all the different combinations and all the different environments. In development mode, on the other hand, the default behavior is to not automatically launch any launcher unless you configure it to do so. And I have already configured it to launch Chrome automatically, and that's why we see this check mark here. If we were to configure to launch something else, then let's say Safari and Phantom.js, then those corresponding check marks would also appear at their corresponding places. We could also do the same thing to configure the launchers in CI mode as well, to sort of narrow down the set of launchers we want for CI mode. So let me show you that in action. So with given the current setup right now, I can say Testem in this directory, and it's going to automatically launch those 3 browsers for me and run the tests inside of them. So very cool. And when I quit, it'll also automatically close all of those browsers. It'll basically kill these launcher processes. You can also control the set of auto-launched launchers on the command line, and the way you do that is using the -L option, and you can give me a list of comma delimited browsers, and I'm just gonna say Chrome here. So in that case, it'll only launch Chrome. For CI mode, you can do the exact same thing. So to go into CI mode, you say Testem CI, and then again use the -L option, and then it'll launch Chrome, run the tests, and then exit. And I will talk about CI mode in more detail in another screencast, so stay tuned for that. Now let's talk about setting up your own custom launchers. And the biggest use case right now for this is to run your JavaScript tests in the Node.js environment. So let's make an example that does that. Okay, so to do that, we need a Testem configuration file, and you would configure a launchers property in the configuration file, and then inside there you would basically set up a set of custom launchers by name. So I'm gonna name my launcher node, and then inside there I want to specify the command I'm gonna use to launch that process. For me, it's gonna be mocha tests.js because I'm gonna be using the Mocha testing framework for this example. So let's look at Testem Launchers. So if you do Testem Launchers, you'll see your newly configured launcher in this list, and it is of type process. And in CI mode, it will get included because CI mode includes all available launchers. And let's make it launch in dev automatically. So I'll say node will launch in dev, and there it is. So now if we do Testem, it'll try to run this command. It'll create a child process by using this command. That command is giving an error right now because the tests.js file is not there. So no problem there. We'll just make one. And it picked it up and rerun the test. So now let's just make a very simple Hello World program using TDD. For assertion, just keep it simple. We'll use the assert library from the standard node distribution. And I'll say describe hello. So Mocha actually looks a lot like Jasmine, if you're familiar with that. And I'll say it returns hello world. Here, assert. You call the function hello world. That's fine. I save it and it reruns the test, except I've got a syntax error. Fix that. And because I'm lazy now, I'm just gonna put the implementation, the hello world function right in here. Save it. And then we're done. Cool. So that's how you would set up your custom launcher to run any arbitrary process. Now, because this is an arbitrary process, theoretically, you don't have to use it to run a JavaScript test. It could be any program at all, really. You could be testing shell scripts for all I care. So there's a lot of flexibility there. I also want to talk about tab format. So let's say your program is able to output in the tab format, which Mocha is able to. So let's make Mocha do that. And if you do that, fine, it'll output in this tab format. Tab stands for Test Anything Protocol. It's just a nice standard for a format that displays your test results. It's nice and human readable, but for our purposes, Testem is also able to parse out this output. So Testem can parse this output and reason about the test results. So if a program is able to output tab and you want to leverage that, you can say set protocol to tab in here. And if we do that, now if we run Testem sucks in that tab format, so it knows about the test results and will display the test results in its usual format. So to demonstrate that, if I break the test, it'll display the results in Testem's usual format if you're more accustomed to that. There is a caveat to doing this because now that you're using the tab format, standard out stream is reserved for the tab output. And because of that, if you try to console.log some output here, it won't get seen. And a workaround for that is to just use console.error instead of console.log, and that would enable it to be displayed in the bottom panel here. That works because standard error is a separate stream from standard out. So that's all I got for you. Oh, actually, there's one more thing. It is actually possible to do these hybrid tests. And what I mean by hybrid test is that you write a set of unit tests and implementation, and you can run those tests in either a browser or Node.js. And I actually have an example of that. Let me just show that to you really quickly. So this is a hybrid test. There's some tests here. Looks kind of ugly right now. And I kind of do a little dance here to sort out the differences between the browser environment and Node.js so that these tests will work in both, and kind of a little dance here in the implementation file. And there are other ways of making your code run in both environments. Some like require.js, and that's fine. And there's also this thing called browserify, which also does the job. But I'm just gonna use this little hack, and if I do that, I'm running the same set of tests in Node and Chrome at the same time, which is really cool. And this example is there on the README file, so go check that out. And that's all I've got to show you. Thank you.